think that's why, with wages going up and people being offered quite a lot for some entry level jobs, why they're choosing not to take them. Many restaurants can't get cooks, things like that. Is that because they got so used to being home and they feel like
That's
they
right.
need to work from home? They feel like they were used to the stimulus check way because the wages are higher. Maybe it's not in line with inflation though, so maybe it's not worth it to them. But like you said, if you're willing to work, you can get a job. So why do you think that's not transitioning, um, where it's still hard to get people to work?
I do think there have been some bad behavioral patterns started, as we said. People who they start the job and they realize, oh, this is actually hard, and sort of give up and say, I don't really need this, and take a different approach. What you said is right, that wages are growing, but they're not keeping up with inflation. So there's a little bit of a gap that even people who are working, and oftentimes we see people working two jobs or more, that they're running faster but falling behind, and that's a sad thing to see, and that's why ultimately we do have to get inflation under control.
Yeah, and we've seen a lot of layoffs lately. These big companies, Facebook is laying off thousands of people, a lot of other companies are doing the same thing. What effect is that going to have on our economy, seeing these mass layoffs?
It absolutely will, and it's one of the reasons that I said 2023 looks like we are heading towards a recession. It started in big tech, as a lot of the fangs, the growth companies started to realize that, oh, things we're not growing, subscribers aren't growing, advertising revenue isn't growing. You saw it there first. Now what we're beginning to see is it spread out into the broader economy, into diversified industrial companies, other parts, and that's where there's concern, because it no longer appears to be just narrowly located in, you could argue, okay, well, these were high flying tech companies that got ahead of themselves. Growth wasn't, thought was going to go on forever. It didn't. Now we're seeing that this is actually a broader economic issue. So again, the likelihood here is that those layoffs, those really tens, now hundreds of thousands of jobs, we're going to start seeing the effects of that in the labor market in next year, and that's, in my mind, one of the leading indicators for recession in 2023.
Hmm. Okay, and when you break down recession, what is that going to look like in terms of people's lives? So does that mean that they are able to afford less with the same amount of money because of inflation? It'll be more difficult to maybe keep a job or get a job, or what will that look like?
Let's separate the two: the inflation, which is what you're just describing, which is purchasing power, the ability to take your dollar and have it buy the same things that it did a year or two ago. That's clearly still running. Hopefully it is mitigating. I don't trust in 1 month or 2 months. I think you got to look at the longer term trends. On the other side is recession. But I think what recession really looks like is growth slows, companies start doing what you were just describing, reductions in force, layoffs, people moving out of the market, making different decisions. So they're not investing anymore in, okay, we're going to expand this area, we're going to invest capital here, we're going to hire people here so that we can grow the market. It becomes more of a hunker down attitude and philosophy.